Hi, I'm Amanda Awakens. I make content to uplift and empower Black women, and sometimes that includes how to successfully navigate the interracial dating scene. Other times that involves how to heal from past trauma and wounds through intentional living and shadow work. Today, we're going to be talking about a topic that I have been avoiding for a long time. I'm going to be sharing with you the reasons why I choose to date outside my race, and in particular, why I choose to date white men. So I've been wanting to make this video for quite some time because I have been asked this question a lot in my lifetime, and honestly, the reason why I have not made this video is, to be 100% transparent, is because of fear. I have been fearful of getting blasted in the comments and just having my character called into question. But after watching this incredible video by this absolutely stunning woman, who I'll make sure to put her on the screen somewhere, after watching her video, I was just so inspired, and basically I said, screw it. I'm gonna share my story. I am always talking about uplifting and empowering Black women, and I can't help empower someone else if I can't empower myself. And I also want to add that this is not an anti-Black man video. This is not anti-Black anything. And if you're looking to bash Black men or to degrade Black men, then you can go elsewhere with that energy. All right, let's talk for real now. So the first reason that I choose to date white men, and I can kind of comfortably say that that's my preference at this point in my life. The reason why is because, from my personal experience, the expectations that have been placed on me when it comes to relationships between myself and Black men versus relationships between myself and white men have been drastically different. And to be honest and to just be more specific, the expectations that are seemingly placed on me in my relationships with Black men aren't just high, but like unrealistic, and sometimes they feel almost like delusional. For instance, not a single white man that I have dated has ever once asked me to be, or not asked, demanded of me to be submissive, to submit to him. I have never had that happen when dating a white man, not once. I had never even heard of this notion of submitting to a man until I entered into a particular relationship in my mid-20s with a Black man. I had never even heard of that idea before. And tied into this criticism of me not being submissive enough, I've also been criticized by the Black men that I've dated, and I've never had this happen in the relationships I've been in with white men, for not being feminine enough, for not having enough femininity. And again, just like this idea of being submissive, this idea of me being feminine or not feminine enough was something that never entered into my conscience like once in my entire life. Like, of all the things I've thought about, and I've thought about a lot of things, my femininity and whether or not I have enough of it has never been something that I questioned until I was in a relationship with a Black man who said that I wasn't feminine enough because I wasn't submissive enough, because I would not submit to him. And mind you, I want to say that I've had this experience happen multiple times in dating Black men, but in particular, the first guy who told me this was working part-time at Home Depot. The guy who had all the expectations in the world for me while I was working 2 jobs and in graduate school. He was working part-time at Home Depot telling me that I should submit to him. Like, what do I get from submitting to you? A 30% discount on a toolbox? And even now, when it comes to like being submissive or being feminine, like with my current boyfriend, we laugh about that all the time because he just like doesn't get the concept of why I need to submit to him, or even what that means to be submissive to him. We look at each other as equals. We are partners. We don't go 50-50. We go 100-100 on everything, and we are equal. in our eyes, and I don't have to submit to him to be loved or to be cherished by him, and vice versa. Like, we are just equals. And you know, this whole submissive thing, it kind of brings me to another point that I hadn't even written down, but now that I'm thinking about it, let's go for it. Where with a lot of the black men that I dated, I always was kind of criticized or given like the side eye for my education and for my passion for education. And it always felt like I was just in competition with them. Like, I never really felt supported. It always felt like it was some kind of competition. And this idea of me submitting always felt like it was, I have to lower myself. I have to dim my light so that that person can shine brighter. So the other reason why I choose to date outside my race, and in particular why I date white men, is because of interest, honestly. I like a lot of things. I mean, a lot of things. And I'm always learning about new things that I like. And I'm just constantly like in a cycle of learning, liking. And let me be clear, I'm not saying that black men don't have this exact same experience, that black men don't like things, that they don't like learning about things. Not saying that at all. All I'm saying is that a lot of the interests that I have had in my life don't necessarily mesh well with kind of the stereotypical things that black men like. For instance, growing up, I didn't listen to like any hip hop, R&B, any of that. Like, I didn't listen to any of that music growing up. I actually listened to country music. I listened to a lot of alternative rock. I'm still pretty much an emo person at my core. I don't think you grow out of that. But like, where I grew up, and honestly even into my adulthood, I didn't have any black men in my circle who I would have dated who liked My Chemical Romance, who knew who The Used was, or who knew who Taking Back Sunday was, or who would have a conversation with me about Pride and Prejudice or Wuthering Heights. And let me be clear, that never happened to me with any man of any race until I got to graduate school. And another thing I just want to add is that when it comes to these interests and who had them and who didn't, I don't account that or attribute that solely to just black men lacking a diversity of interests. I account it or attribute it more to the regions in which I have lived and worked, and how there's just such little diversity in those spaces. And that kind of takes me to my next point. I've never really had a chance to live and work and operate in spaces that had like an abundance of black men. I've always been in spaces that were more white male dominated than black male dominated. And I don't mean dominated, I should really say populated. That's the word I actually mean. When I was younger, I grew up in a really white environment, and honestly, the black guys back then, to just be 100% honest, were not checking for me. They really weren't. They were either interested in black girls who were a lot lighter than me, or who were biracial, or they just were after white girls. And the black guys that did openly pursue me did so in like a really objectifying manner. And that was really hard on me. I always kind of had an issue with my body and feeling like I was just this nerd and this introvert, but I had this curvy body that drew a lot of attention and commentary. And it was always really hard for me when I did have these black guys who were just objectifying me and just looking at my body and completely dismissing my character. The last reason that I choose to date white men is honestly, it's just kind of easy for me. And this also goes back to where I live, where I work, the spaces that I inhabit. But white men are usually just closer to me in proximity. And I am someone who I don't want to have to do a ton of looking when it comes for a partner. Like, I don't mind doing the work when I'm in the relationship, but like, I don't want to have to be on 50 different dating apps talking to everybody's cousin or friend or coworker. Like, I don't want to have to do all that. I don't want to have to look for the needle in the haystack. And that's not to say that I would just like compromise or settle or just date whoever. But what it means is that if there are really good, solid, viable options for a partner around me, I'm not going to ignore them and just completely dismiss them so that I might have a chance, like an arbitrary chance, at finding this one particular type of person. All right, everyone, thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope that you enjoyed, and if you did, please make sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on this post notification so you don't miss a single video. And until next time, stay safe, be well, and I'll see you soon. Bye, everyone.